Another example of jobs to be done was the story of McDonald's milkshakes. Now, McDonald's wanted to increase the sales of their milkshakes, and they believed if they improved the flavor, that's what would happen. And so a lot of these big companies, what they do is they do focus groups. Now, focus groups are very dangerous. If you ask users, can you give me guidance, you're like abandoning your responsibility, a bit like a referendum. I swear that's the only politics I'm going to do, I swear. But you're abandoning the response, because it's like you're saying, I don't know, give me guidance. So if you ask users, what do you want? This is what they'll say. And that's how meaningful it will be. Because like UX research, it is a skill. And so when McDonald's took the advice, nothing happened. Surprise, surprise. And then they hired a consultant called Clay Christensen, a very famous consultant in the UX world. And what they did was more of an ethnographic study. They went to a McDonald's, and for 18 hours a day, they observed people buying milkshakes. They looked at when they were doing it, who they were with, and how often. And what they found was 50% of milkshakes were sold before 8:30 in the morning, which is very strange. The other thing is, when anyone bought it, they were alone. It was the only thing they bought, and they took it and they drove off. And so Clay Christensen was like, all right, we need to go back again to this McDonald's to find out what's going on. So this time they went back the next day, but they stood outside, and they waited to catch people. And they would say, I'm having a real problem understanding your behavior. Most people were quite sheepish and they couldn't really explain it. And so Clay said, all right, let's take a step back. Think about the last time you needed to buy a milkshake. What did you hire to do this actual thing? Oops, that's the alert. Go away, cool. We should be good for another hour. So they said, what did you actually do to hire this thing? And that allowed the person to tease out, okay, what did I use? And so, did that kill it? Come back. There we go. So, some people said, I hired a banana. Some people said, I hired a donut, but they made me feel guilty. Some people said, I hired a bagel, but it's hard to use cream cheese and drive at the same time. Some people said, I used a Snickers. What they were doing was, they had a long drive to work, they needed to stay engaged, and they needed to remain full at lunchtime. So banana made them still feel hungry. Donuts made them feel guilty. The bagel was not really easy to actually use. It had nothing to do with the milkshake itself. It's just the milkshake was thick and took a long time to consume. That was the job people were hiring a milkshake. And so when you think about who are the McDonald's milkshake competitors, it's not like Burger King or whatever. These were the competitors, but you would never think of that. And so what McDonald's did was, okay, if the goal is to take a milkshake to get in and out of the store, make it really quick, what we do is we'll move the machines to the front of the store. We'll make prepaid cards to get people in now as quickly as possible. And we'll make it thicker so it takes longer to consume, and that increased sales by 7x. And so that's the power of jobs to be done, when you actually focus on what is the thing you're trying to accomplish.